and my time was running wild, a million dead ends.
Hi, welcome back again to Big Business Issues featuring R&J Tech. Today I will be discussing improvements made compared to last year with my business. Yeah, so stay tuned if you would like to hear this story, and you may, learn about the benefits, lessons, and all that stuff. And yeah, it'll be quite fun to learn about what improvements I made this time for this podcast on episode 2. So, I know I didn't do this before, so I'm going to be discussing about the news I found out today. So, for the news I found out, okay, any of you who are, big Star Wars fans out there, I know I am, myself, I watched this new show, The Mandalorian, and their one character, Gina, who plays Cara Dune, well, she admitted that she was being bullied by Star Wars and Lucasfilm. So, what's everybody's opinion about that? What do you guys think? I know it's, a lot of women. I've heard so many women who've been, in that position before, who try to stand up for themselves when they're dealing with workplace bullying. And you see, it's hard for, one woman to stand up for themselves, especially, if it's a couple other women as well, who, who's trying to have a voice, who's trying to stand up for themselves, and especially when they're being bullied in a workplace. So, it's kind of a two-way story. You see, one side has opinions and the other side has their opinions, and, it doesn't matter if, what your political status is. Because people should be helping each other out regardless of, religion or your political status. It doesn't matter who you are. You should be helping people out anyway, because people, they need your help. They're struggling. It doesn't matter. We need to be nice. We can't be, mean. We can't be, having people lose their jobs too. Because, she lost her job as well. But, she may gain, more work later on too. Because there's a lot of other, there's a lot of other good movie productions out there as well that I know. And you see, it's pretty easy for, actors and stuff too, if they have, the support they need, especially when it comes to bullying too, and, stuff like that, because, a lot of people needs to be supportive that way. Same with towards small businesses too, because they struggle the same way as well. A lot of businesses, they, I know I'm going to discuss this later on as well, that they're going to go through, bullying because of their buyers. So I'm going to be discussing, later on the effects of that as well. And, okay, another thing in the news that I found out was, there was this one girl from Mohawk College in Ontario. Apparently this, she's from Nigeria. Well, this one girl, she was just struggling with her family business because it was a hotel and stuff like that. And, the tuition is pretty high these days for students. I know myself, it's been, a pretty big struggle too. And if you have a business as well, that's even more, it's even more of a financial burden too, because you're trying to support your business. You're trying to, have money coming in to support your education as well. Because, as students, we have to do what we have to do in order to, pay for our education, pay for our bills, pay for, all these things. And a lot of small businesses has been struggling as well, especially if they're college students too. And I also heard about this Okay, this is going to be a little bit of a entertainment. This is going to be a little bit entertaining. So, how many people have heard of OnlyFans? Because I think I have a little bit. Well, I did a little bit of research into the website and stuff. And apparently if you send naked pictures or nudes, people will send you money for it. So, and apparently I've heard that site's been becoming, a very popular burden for people, especially if they have, especially if, they're not working, or, if they need the money, or if they need the bills, or if they need the funds to pay for. That is a pretty good, I don't know, I'm not sure. It kind of does have a good side to it and a bad side to it. I'm not sure, but yeah, what are your guys' opinions about that too, OnlyFans? And I have a, I don't know, I'm not encouraging this question, but I have a good question here. How many small business out there, how many of you guys, how many of you would sign up for OnlyFans? Like any small business out there, how many of you guys would sign up for OnlyFans? If your business is struggling, if you need, bills, if you have a family to support and feed and all that stuff, like how many of, you small business owners would sign up for, this OnlyFans site? Because, it's becoming a very popular burden, especially for, especially for famous artists too. I've heard of, a few of those who are, signed up for the site and stuff. Few actors or musicians or stuff like that, they, privately said that they signed up for the site, and that's the way that, they get money and stuff too. That could be another way for, to help small businesses. But I don't know. I'm not going to encourage, a small business to sign up for OnlyFans just to pose, just to pose nude, just to support, their small business and stuff like that. But, if any of, it's a person's decision, really. And if any of you small businesses out there, if you guys really want to, do that and to support for, small businesses and to raise awareness to help, small businesses struggle, go for it. Like, sign up for OnlyFans, use it, because if you think that's a way to support, any small business going through a struggle, that's, and plus, I heard 1 million people, use that site as well. So, go for it. Because I know, I don't think I would sign up for the site because it would be a little risky myself. Especially if people knows you and stuff on the site as well. So, I don't know. I guess you could do it in disguise or something like that, or. Well, it's a person's decision. Legacy is a person's decision and stuff like that. Especially for many women and their small businesses as well, because, I've heard that a lot of small businesses, women especially, they're struggling with their small business. And this is another thing that I've seen in the news as well. And what else? I did hear that they're also extending government supports too, which is a pretty good thing too, because, that's a pretty, how many businesses, still need support? Because I know a lot of them will raise their hand, because I know I would be myself, because it's the only way that, you can have bills coming in. and stuff like that. Or you could just, sign up for OnlyFans. Just a suggestion for small businesses, just to get, have that support. And, it's a, cool way to attract, you could attract customers, but I don't know, I'm afraid that would be hard on a small business's reputation, especially in their community. I'm not quite sure about that, but anywho, but yeah. So all this news has been, pretty big and, hectic and changing and stuff like that. And so now on to the announcements. So for my announcements, there hasn't been, any, new announcements. I did go out skiing, over the weekend and that stuff, and oh my gosh, snow was like mush when I went out there. Like, it was a good, like, if you wanted to learn how to cross-country ski, to be honest, over the weekend was a pretty perfect time, because, you weren't going to be freaked out when you were going to go down the ski hill. So, yeah, I think a lot of people would, really enjoy skiing over the weekend and stuff like that, which would be a lot of fun. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for the announcements and stuff like that. So I haven't heard pretty much anything else new other than, one of my favorite actors, Gina, or, this one business hotel, or the OnlyFans, or, stuff like that. So yeah, I think this topic is going to be pretty important, because, it's going to go over, how we should, do improvements, especially for supporting small businesses as well, so they don't have to, go for, other alternates too, because, people, if they're comfortable with, doing something, or that thing, they're comfortable with doing that thing. It's just up to them. So, I'm going to go over a recap in case anybody missed my last episodes. So, in case you missed the previous episode, I'll briefly go over the first one. So, well, I talked about how I started my business back in 2019, and I was struggling to find work in my community and stuff like that, and the jobs were pretty hard to find, and especially part-time work, and I did submit resumes left, right, and center, which was, a lot of places weren't hiring at the time, or their hours were different, and I did, for my first year, wound up going through a call center, which I wound up getting terminated because I was going back to school for business administration, and then I was working in this one restaurant, and then I was earning $600, which my rent was $575, and, add to that, my landlord, I remember going over to the office one time to talk to my landlord, and he said that he was going to be so close to sending me an eviction notice over to my apartment, which I was like, really, my lip was like quivering, because I was almost going to cry, because, I couldn't, be out on the roads and stuff without a place to live, and especially if I'm a student as well, because I need the support, and, it was pretty hard at the time, and stuff like that, and money was pretty hard to come by, and sorry about that, have a drink. Yeah, money was very hard to come by, and alrighty, I do remember my college instructor, we had this presentation of, about this girl who had their own online selling business through eBay, and my one classmate, Patrick, told me that I should start my own business, and I later came up with R&J Tech, and I signed up for many sites, and, I sell iPhones, AirPods, and speakers, and that's the, another thing that people should really be attracted to than, I don't know, new pictures or something like that. I don't know, it's anyone's opinion, but anywho. And then people thought, I was a scammer when I was trying to promote my products through ads. So next, oh, I named my business after my late father who passed away. And yeah, I did go through, a lot of family issues at the time and stuff like that. And same with conflict, especially if it had to do with my father and stuff like that, because my dad would always be out to sea and stuff like that because he wouldn't always be home with us. So it was pretty hard that way. And he would be happy with my sales in 2020 compared to 2021 because I'm struggling this year compared to last year. So he plays guitar, bass, drums, and seeing my dad was hard at times because he was a fisherman. And so that was pretty much the recap of the first episodes, and I do apologize, it was pretty quick. And I'm soon gonna start going over my improvements that I made compared to last year. And I think that there, should be a lot more improvements made, especially for, small businesses or students like that, because it's hard when you need support and you really can't get it. And you have like all these payments coming in and you can't make payments on time. It's very hard to. And like these places, they won't give you a chance. They won't give you an option to. And I remember before I was trying to pay a cell phone bill, and I was struggling, to pay it because I couldn't, afford it, and I needed, my phone in case, emergencies, because people, in case people need to contact me. And, if they shut your phone off, there's no way people can contact you. People think that, people would think you're missing or something like that. People would be worried. So, that's pretty big scare for, people who are concerned too. And cell phone companies should be aware of that. Sorry, I have a tickle. Wrong throat. Okay, I'm going to go over the improvements that I made compared to last year. Oh my. Well, I've seen so many improvements made compared to last year, especially with sales. I noticed last year my sales was pretty good because I would be making about, quite a bit of sales and stuff on my sites. And customers, they started to trust me more, and they started to support me more and stuff like that. And I started to get a lot of sales and stuff like that, and it was a lot of fun. And I helped several of my customers out and stuff like that. And I tried to help them out as much as I could, because I would do I said I could do orders every week and stuff like that. And that could be a bit of a challenge because when you're doing when I was doing returns and refunds, I didn't really enjoy that at all because as a seller and that stuff, when you're selling products and stuff, it's hard to do a return or a refund because you're trying to sell the products as much as you can, so you can renew your inventory, so you can get more products or more items because of the demand, and the demand is high, especially for AirPods or speakers or iPhones like that, because everybody needs those nowadays. So I didn't have any problems returning phones, but I did with the AirPods and stuff. I found out that Apple, no offense, but Apple, I found out that I got AirPods that was a long time ago. They were brand new, but then they were about to expire, which didn't really make sense because people would start getting them once they would come out. And as a reseller myself, this is, what we have to get. This is what we have to deal with for inventory, which is pretty challenging because to be honest, I looked on the Apple website before and I seen like how much the AirPods were, $300. As a reseller, if I had to buy 10 of those would be $1,400, which is a lot of money. And I would have to, put my prices up to $600 in order to, support myself. That is, oh my goodness. You can't really do that. And what the improvements I made compared to last year were also my prices as well on products. Because that's really important too. When you put prices on products, that's really important. Because just imagine if you were to, for example, if you bought like the AirPods on the Apple website and compared to the AirPods I have, my AirPods cost about $115, which is without the warranty or stuff like that. But the AirPods in the Apple Store, those cost like $349. So, that's a lot of money people are, losing there compared to $115. Like $349 is a lot. Imagine you could get 2 AirPods for the price of that. 2 AirPods. And, yeah, so that was the improvement I made. And, this year I'm open to doing more returns and refunds myself because I do, as a seller, I do take, those things very serious, especially when the products don't work, because customers, they would say that, their product doesn't work or something like that, and I would take the item back just to inspect it and see what's going on with it, and they would say, I did receive AirPods that were, in good condition and stuff like that, but I'm also including it with my iPhone, but I haven't posted it on my website yet, but I will be later on. So this is for my iPhone 6s that I'm selling on my site, so those AirPods will be going with that, and plus the charging cable as well. And yeah, so I remember customers, they would really thank me for helping them in that stuff too, because I helped a lot of customers with their returns and their refunds as well. I especially paid for their shipping and stuff like that, and I, helped them verify their returns and refunds and stuff like that, or their exchanges, and people are pretty happy that way too. And I did, send exchange to one of my customers at no charge, so she is pretty good with that. She's pretty happy with that too. And when you charge people a fair price and stuff like that, compared to last year, I would charge a lot more for things compared to this year, because I like to make things affordable for people, because it's really not fair if you don't make things affordable. And I remember, last year, my business, there was so much that, last year, I remember that there was so much that I had to learn and think about in my business. I never really kept, making notes and stuff. But, compared to this year, I have, I do write down, my customers' notes and stuff like that, their transactions, their returns, their refunds, their data and stuff like that. I never did that when I first started my business, but I'm glad I did that this year, because it's more organized as a small business, just to keep notes and just to make sure you're writing your customers information down, just to keep things organized, so you know who they are. And I was doing for time management, I wasn't doing very well with sending my orders off compared to this year, because I would be sending my orders off right before the due date, which is a pretty good thing. And that's big for when you're, selling and stuff like that, because your customers, they're waiting on their product, and they're waiting for, for a while too, because as a buyer myself, I'm waiting on, several things too to help me to work as well. And it's challenging, when you're waiting and waiting and waiting on these products, especially with the COVID going on and stuff like that, because it really slows the mail delay down. And that was a bit of the problem as well and stuff, because my mail would be getting delayed and customers would be getting really upset because, and I would keep on tracking my customers' orders too and their shipments as well, because their orders were really important to me. And I think it's very important, as a small business, especially if you're selling, to track your customers' orders, because what happens if it gets lost and stuff too, because there's times where I had to contact Canada Post because people's mail was getting lost. And that was a lot of improvements that I made compared to previously. And the next thing I would say is people are starting to gain, more trust, which is good because it does provide that relationship, you would have throughout your orders. Because, I always, returning things was not really my thing, because I didn't, I don't like reselling items again, because it's a pretty big challenge too to find, new customers, new buyers and stuff like that. A lot of buyers have, are going through that same issue as well, especially if they're small business, and especially if they made I made tons of sales last year compared to this year, and I didn't have a problem with reselling last year compared to this year. But this year is a pretty big challenge in that stuff too, because of the COVID, and it's hard financially on small businesses, especially if they're trying to sell, their products, their goods and stuff, and especially if it's, a part of, the needs too, because, you can't go out without, AirPods listening to your, instructors and stuff like that, or your workplace too, because I've seen, throughout interviews that people would use AirPods during an interview, which is pretty cool, because, that's how popular AirPods are nowadays. People will buy AirPods regardless, and it's amazing. And I do have one available on my site if anybody is interested, and it is my only last one available, because the demand for AirPods, the demand for those, it's high. It's really high. I'm sorry, but that demand is high. And I find this year is hard due to lack of sales compared to last year, because I was able to make cell phone payments. I was able to pay off, one phone bill that I did not make, or one phone bar that I didn't add. So I managed to pay that off too, and I managed to pay, my student loan as well, because that's hard too. But this year it's been a challenge, and and I do, I really do love all my customers and stuff like that. And my customers, if you're my customer, you're my one priority. You're you're very big deal towards me myself, because I do love working with my customers and stuff, and we're a team too. And since I like to accept the returns and refunds more, it's more fun when we're working together that way, especially if I help them out, paying for their shipping and stuff like that. And see, that's those are the improvements that I did make compared to last year, which is pretty amazing, because I do accept more returns and refunds now, and I do take them more serious and stuff like that. And I do save my customers money for in another, account for a while before, before I get it. Or if I, the good thing is if I ship my item on time, you see, I don't get my funds until my customer's satisfied. So that's a pretty good thing. So, I'm not losing, my money that way either, or cash that way. And, and once they get their item as well, I do send them a reimbursement as well for their shipping. Because if they return an item to me and that stuff, it does, help them as well. If you send them, cash for a return, too. And, So, that's pretty much all about the improvements that I made compared to last year. Because, it's always important, to write notes down, to write your customers data down too, and that stuff, just so who they are and what their needs are, because every customer has different needs too. And it feels great when you take care of each of those customers' needs. And, that gains more trust too. And I do, love gaining, my customers' trust. Especially if it's a pretty tough year and that stuff. So, So that's pretty much soon it for the podcast. My next episode is going to be shared experiences for new businesses. So that's going to be episode 3. So this topic is, soon going to be finished. So it's been pretty good, discussing, these improvements that I have made myself. Because, if you make improvements yourself, it makes your customers happy and it makes you happy as a business. And, always writing notes down too is very important. Especially for your inventory too, because, I'm going to be writing my, inventory down as well for the items that I buy. And because I sell a lot of products too, and I have more on the way as well. So if you, it's always safer to buy from somebody who has more products and more items, because that they're going to, always have those items in inventory and in stock as well. So, so check out my site too, because I'm going to be adding, soon going to be adding more products in the meantime. And, it is pretty exciting and stuff like that. And, so far for the rest of my week, I'm going to probably be watching, more Scotties, or, that's pretty much another favorite sport of mine is, curling. So, I've been curling for a few years myself, so it is pretty exciting to watch that, as well in your own country too, because, you have everybody, from different types of places coming together and, representing, where they're from, their community as well. So, I recommend everybody watching the Scotties. So, 2021. And, that's a pretty exciting thing, especially if you're into curling too. So, excuse me. So, thank you very much for listening to the Big Business Challenge episode 2. And if you have any questions, concerns, or comments, drop your comment below on my YouTube video. And I really do hope you enjoy my stories and my questions and stuff like that. And and I do enjoy discussing all these things with you folks too, because it does help people, and it is really a lot of fun. And I'll be posting this sometime soon. And I hope you guys enjoy your week and enjoy your weekend and stuff like that. And thank you for following along with me today. And, I hope you take care of yourself and your customers, and also small businesses too, because they need your support and need your help. So, thank you very much for tuning in today and listening to Earn J Tech 20. So, hope you guys all have a good one, and thank you for listening, and bye-bye.